This is the story of the Island of the Skog. Story and pictures by Stephen Kellogg. You can see all the little mice on this story. Here they are all set to sit around the table. Here is the ship that they're going to take called the Flying Rose. And here is the clock. It was National Rodent Day, and Jenny decided to have a party. Hannah, Wooster, and Louise came. So did Bouncer and his buddies from the bowling alley. They all arrived, shaking after a narrow escape from the butcher's cat. Jenny decided to wheel in the dessert right away. Hot marshmallow cheesecake with raspberry fudge sauce, she announced. Meanwhile, the cat had slipped in with the delivery boy. The mice just barely escaped the basement. A German shepherd got Granny last night, puffed Hannah. We should stay in our holes. I'm tired of living in a hole, said Jenny. Let's fight for freedom, cried Bouncer. We'll be soldiers, rough-riding rowdies. I'll be the general and commander-in-chief. Wait, cried Jenny. Let's sail away instead. We'll find a peaceful island. The mice cheered. I'll be the ship's captain, declared Bouncer. Rowdy, you're my crew. It took the mice most of the night to load the ship and roll it to the harbor. Ignoring the crowd at the pier, they sailed bravely out to sea. During the first few days of the voyage, the mice feasted on chocolate waffles and coconut cherry cheese pie. Between meals, they dreamed of their island and tanned their pelts in the sun. Here they are on their boat, living on their boat, their adventure boat. As the days passed, it grew colder and colder. The mice were unprepared for winter weather, and they huddled close to the waffle iron. Land ho! Cried Captain Bouncer one morning as the ship narrowly missed hitting an iceberg. The mice looked at the compass and discovered that they had been sailing toward the North Pole. Somebody else lives at the North Pole, too. The compass must have been upside down, insisted Bouncer. I'm tired of being captain anyway. I quit. By the time they reached warmer seas, their food supplies were very low. The mice were seasick, homesick, and convinced that they would soon be dead. I'll give $1 billion for one last chocolate-coated cheese puff, moaned a rowdy. Suddenly, Jenny cried, Land ho! The book calls it the Island of the Skog, said Wooster. It says population 1 Skog. But it doesn't say what a Skog is. If there's only one, then there's plenty of room for all of us, said Louise. Why don't we bring it a gift so it will know we're friendly? Wait a minute, Flubberhead, snapped Bouncer. Suppose this Skog is dangerous. Let's blaze our way to the island and show him we mean business. The rowdies fired all 12 cannonballs, and then the mice waded cautiously ashore. I claim this land, cried Bouncer, as a place where all mice can live without fear. We will build a great kingdom dedicated to the freedom of mice, and I will be the king. There were murmurs of surprise from the other mice. Here we can all feel like kings, said Jenny. And that is the most important part of being king, as everyone knows. After unloading their supplies, they somersaulted on the beach through the long, brilliant sunset. How wonderful it was to be on land again. Finally, as the last rays of daylight faded, they climbed back aboard the ship to spend the night. At dawn, they discovered an enormous footprint. "It looks like a bear track," said Hannah. "Stand aside, Tenderfeet," ordered Bouncer. "This is a job for the rough-riding rowdies. We'll use Grandpa's favorite trick. First dig a deep hole, then cover it with straw, and bait it with honey. Tonight the beast will smell the bait, stumble into the trap, and the island will be ours." By evening the trap was completed. The mice spent a sleepless night in a nearby hole. The next morning they discovered that the trap was empty. "Look," shrieked Hannah, "someone cut the rope. The ship is gone." "We're marooned," wailed the mice. "Our only chance now," said Bouncer, "is to get rid of the Skog before he gets rid of us. Who will volunteer?" "This looks like a job for the rough-riding rowdies," said Jenny. "Whose idea was it to come here anyway?" said Bouncer. All eyes turned back to Jenny. "I have a plan," she said. "We must build a giant kite and tie it to a very long rope. We'll circle a honey jar with one end of the rope, and when the Skog steps into the circle, we will send the kite aloft. The Skog will be pulled into the air and towed out to sea." See their plan right there? The A, B, and C, and there he is on C. He's up in the air. There's the kite that they're making. That night, the mice hid behind a sand dune and kept watch over the honey jar. Just after dawn, a shadowy figure appeared on the beach. There's the shadowy figure. The monstrous creature lurched towards the honey jar. The mice, trembling, sent their kite high into the air. Look at that monster. And he's stepping into where the honey jar is, into the rope. And the kite's going to go up in the air. And the plan had worked. But suddenly the Skog came flapping apart, and half of them plunged back to the island. There's one half going back to the island. There's the other half going up in the air. The fallen Skog lay flat and still. Suddenly a little animal appeared. "Don't hurt me," he cried. "We won't hurt you," said Rooster. "We were afraid of you. Why did you wear this monster costume?" "Because I was afraid of you," cried the Skog. "I was frightened by your cannons and your trap." "What happened to our ship?" demanded Bouncer. "I cut the rope because I thought you were sleeping on board," confessed Skog. "I've been so lonely here, but I decided it was better to be alone than to be afraid." "If only we had talked to each other," said Jenny. Talking makes a big difference, doesn't it? Using your words. Bouncer stepped forward and helped the Skog to his feet. They all agreed to build a village and live together. "Let's make plans now," suggested Bouncer. "The first thing we need is a national anthem. Rowdies, you're the orchestra. The rest of you will be the chorus, and I will lead the music. Line up, everybody." "Heroes, let your voices ring To our island home we sing, shelter us from stormy seas, keep our kitchen stuffed with cheese, save our pelts from lice and fleas, save our pelts from flea and lice. Shout it once, shout it twice, friends forever, Skog and mice. And there we go. That's the end of the story. And now Grandma Happy's going to show you where she is right now. She's in Conroe, Texas. And I think that might have been the island way out there that the mice went to go gain their freedom. I hope you've enjoyed this, listening to this as much as I've enjoyed reading it to you. Love you, Smoochies, Grandma Happy.